This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Right now, though, the message is not to rush reentry. There are still dangerous conditions, downed electric lines, flood conditions, problems that would be compounded by your reentry. And so listen to your local officials not only about evacuation, but then about when and how to stagger your reentry.
Hurricane Irma ripped through the Sunshine State, and Floridians are eager to get back to their homes. But is it safe to return? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We're a little battered and bruised. Irma was tough, but the Suncoast is tougher. Hope you're doing good tonight. For more on what we have been through and what we can expect to see those blue September skies again, here is Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
I'll tell you what, Alan, we are looking at the storm now entering into Georgia, and it's causing some issues there. Obviously, you get a look at the rainfall totals. We are seeing some pretty hefty rainfall totals east of the center of that eye, and it looks as though we will continue to see that rain spread up into Georgia right now, as that rainfall is fairly heavy, and it looks as though our rain is over for the most part. The satellite imagery showing a poorly organized system now as it moves off to the north, some heavy rainfall, again pushing off basically to the northwest. And so this is going to be the big issue now. It's out of Florida for the most part, and now it's going to be Georgia's problem and into Tennessee as well as we move through time. So again, the biggest problem will be up into Georgia and also through Tennessee and West Virginia as well. Now, I'll get these maps to move for you. There they go. You can see that activity continue to spread through Atlanta, all the way up into Tennessee near Nashville and places to the right. Really in North Carolina where the mountainous terrain is, boy, that's going to be tough going there for flood warnings and flood advisories. Get a look at the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Top winds are at 50, so it's really come down. It's now just a tropical storm after being one of the most intense hurricanes and tropical cyclones in the world. So it's just about done, but it still has some damage on its mind because we're going to see a tremendous amount of flooding throughout that region on into North Georgia, Tennessee, looks like northern Alabama as well, and even along the Carolina coast. They're going to continue to see these bands of showers and storms move onshore, causing all sorts of headaches and problems there. Well, we can also breathe a sigh of relief. No more warnings for us. The tropical storm warning has been lifted now, and that will hopefully stay that way through the rest of the season. We are still under flood watch along the east coast and over South Florida, but not much going on here, Alan. You can see that orange area. That is a tropical storm warning. A lot of our residents and people here took shelter in Georgia, but they can't get back because there's a tropical storm in their way. Some of them are risking that, but they shouldn't as a result of the stronger winds over North Florida. We still have some advisories in effect, mainly coastal advisories up and down west central Florida. We have a small craft, we have a rip current, and we have a high surf. All those are advisories that are going on here along the west coast of Florida. For us, we're going to continue to see some showers and storms around periodically through the night. And right now we're watching another system too out in the Atlantic. That is Jose. We'll talk more about Jose and where it may be headed. By the way, Alan, the projection for this year from NOAA was the max 17 storms. So you can do the math. We got a lot more of the season left to go. Back to you.
That sounds like a whole other show that we should be doing, yeah. Bob, thanks. One of the biggest problems right now are the traffic lights, which are out throughout the area. Law enforcement is doing what it can to make sure drivers and pedestrians are safe. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us live now to show us how traffic is flowing throughout Sarasota. Erica.
Good evening, Alan. Right now, like you said, one of the biggest problems are the traffic stops that are inoperable in our area. Right behind me, this is the intersection of 10th Street and Central Avenue in Sarasota. That car is doing a great job. It came to a complete stop. It's treating this as a four-way stop right here. This isn't the only intersection. There's multiple intersections that still have inoperable traffic stop or traffic lights at the moment. One earlier that's now been fixed was Bee Ridge Road and Beneva Road. Also earlier, the intersection of Honore Avenue and Fruitville Road. That was a scary situation over there. There was a 5-vehicle crash because of the traffic lights not working. And according to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, one of the cars, at least one, was not treating it properly as a four-way stop. We spoke to the Florida Highway Patrol earlier, Trooper Ken Watson, and he told us that the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office and Sarasota Police Department is working with FHP to get law enforcement out here to help them patrol these intersections, make them easier to navigate. He also told us the proper way to treat one of these intersections.
When you approach an intersection and that signal is not working, it must be treated as a four-way stop. Unfortunately, we are responding to a lot of car crashes at this time because people do not remember, or they're simply forgetting to slow down at these intersections.
And just as State Trooper Ken Watson said, the best way to operate and navigate one of these intersections is to come to a complete stop, look in all directions, and treat it as a four-way stop just to make sure yourself and other drivers stay safe. Reporting live in Sarasota, Erica Jackson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Erica, thank you. Cleanup is well underway in Sarasota County. ABC7's Rick Adams has more from a residential neighborhood.
Well, I'm here on Hoxie Lane, right near Bliss Road, and things certainly aren't very blissful here. There was a huge tree blocking this road. There's no way of getting up and down this road because of this tree getting in the way, all thanks to Hurricane Irma. Now, this is the scene all across the city, in different parts of the city, traveling around. That's what we're seeing. A lot of downed trees and a lot of widespread power outages. And I must tell you, Hurricane Irma has certainly made her presence known here. I'm Rick Adams reporting. Back to you.
Rick, thank you. You have questions, we have answers. We're running a phone bank to answer your questions about anything Hurricane Irma related. ABC7's Linda Carson is in the newsroom with our staff who has been helping viewers all weekend. Linda.
The ABC7 phone bank has been one of the most helpful things through this entire hurricane. It started several days before the hurricane started, and they're still going strong, but one more hour. You've got to call. They're going to stop at 8 o'clock tonight. The phone bank will end then. The number to call, 552-3127, and a real person will answer your call. They will listen to your problem. They will help you find the answer. So you'll be talking to somebody who can help you find the information you need. These people came here before the hurricane started. These are people who work at ABC7 every day. Most of them have been sleeping on mats. They've been here for the duration. Tanya, you're not on the phone right now. So tell me some of your questions you've been getting today.
We've been getting a lot of questions about sanitation, trash pickup, whether I-75's open. There's been a lot of questions on water problems. We had a water main break in Venice, so people are told that they have to boil their water. And if bridges are opened, the Skyway's closed, but most of the bridges around here are open. And there's just been a whole lot of calls about, you know, what to do when they get back to their home and down power lines. But the most famous question is when their garbage is going to be picked up.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? I thought it would be, when is the electricity going to be on?
That's the second most popular. That's
garbage and lights. That's what information we all need. Thank you so much. Now, you've got until 8 o'clock tonight to call. The number is 552-3127, and there will be somebody to take your call and answer your questions. Back to you guys.
Linda, thank you so much. Siesta Key dealing with flooding and wind damage at the marina right off of Old Stickney Point Road. Parts of the boat storage roof collapsed inland. Floodwaters cover Ocean Drive near the main beach parking lot. A crossing sign was knocked down by the winds. Also an entire palm tree. One couple out this morning took in the damage. They evacuated to Sarasota from Marathon.
It kind of scares me because if it's this bad here, like I know it's way worse down there, but it's pretty not bad here. But there's a lot of trees down, all the lights. Like it's definitely the scariest hurricane I've been through, and I've lived in Florida my whole life.
It was pretty scary. My mom was hysteric. She's in New York. She has no idea what's going on. Honestly, I slept right through it. I was so tired, so stressed out that I honestly just slept right through it.
The Gulf remains calm now. Off of the Key, there were no major signs of flooding into homes. Roofs and windows also seem to be intact. As Floridians recover, U.S. Senator Marco Rubio is trying to leave folks with one less thing to worry about. Today, Rubio urged the IRS to extend the filing deadline for calendar year partnerships. He also asked the IRS to grant charitable contribution tax benefits to state residents who assisted those impacted by the storm. Rubio also urged the U.S. Department of Education to ease the burden of federal debt repayment deadlines for student loan borrowers. Sarasota County's recovery team has started assessing damage to the Suncoast. The group identifies neighborhoods believed to be the most damaged. They assess each home and the condition. They send the information to FEMA and the county appraiser. They expect it will be several days to assess all the properties. To report any damage to your home or property, call 1-800-621-FEMA. That's 1-800-621-3362. Still mass power outages across the region. 60% of Sarasota County is in the dark. 57% of Manatee County is without power. By the numbers, Florida Power and Light is reporting nearly 160,000 outages in Sarasota County, 106,000 outages now in Manatee County, around 60,000 in Charlotte, and over 12,000 outages in DeSoto. 77% of that county has no power right now. Two of our crack producers, Greg LaFontaine and Zach Lowy, drove around Manatee in Sarasota County today, documenting the damage from Hurricane Irma, including downed tree branches, traffic lights that were out, even a trampoline that ended up over a fence. A local gas station was badly damaged. The 7-Eleven on 14th Street near the corner of 57th Avenue, parts of the gas station collapsed. The gas pumps seemed to be in good shape. They were covered by saran wrap to keep the gas handles from separating from the pumps. And check this out. Two boats flipped over on their sides. The boats weren't seriously damaged, but it's evidence just how strong the wind was. And still to come. We were fortunate here on the Suncoast. Others not so lucky. We will take a look at the damage from around the state.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Consumer Cellular makes it easy to stay in touch with family and stay within our budget.
Now our cell phone bill is only a fraction of what it used to be.
Our average customers get everything they need for about $25 a month, and plans start at only $10 a month with no contracts.
Consumer Cellular has a great choice of phones. Check out my new one.
I picked this simple phone.
I use my son's old smartphone. Kept my number, too.
Consumer Cellular has been an approved AARP provider since 2008, and members get exclusive discounts.
It's a good thing Consumer Cellular is always there, because sometimes I need a little help.
Sometimes. We're proud to have received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service among non-contract wireless providers.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of change.
We actually use change. Luckily, there are some things we can still afford.
Like Consumer Cellular.
Stop paying too much for wireless service. Switch to Consumer Cellular. And with our 30-day risk-free guarantee, it's easy. Call 1-800-920-3084. Go online or visit a Target store today.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
After battering Florida, what's left of Hurricane Irma is causing more problems. Millions of people are without power, and there is the threat of potentially deadly storm surges. Kristen Holmes is in Naples, where people there are now starting to clean up after Irma.
As Florida assesses the extensive damage from Irma, residents are still facing a two-front threat. First, the storm surge, remaining a major issue for parts of the state. Jacksonville facing severe flooding as the city was pounded with unforgiving rain and wind. Officials warning residents that even as the storm clears, dangerous conditions remain.
We had mandatory evacuations in AB low-lying areas, mobile homes, manufactured homes. Recent data shows even more significant surge, which results in more flooding.
And millions of residents throughout the state are still without power, including a large portion of Miami.
We have power lines down. We've got debris all over the state. We're going to rescue everybody. We're going to try to get everybody back to normal as fast as possible, but everybody's got to be patient.
Further south in the Keys, officials say the priority now is supporting the residents who did not evacuate. And as the storm slowly moves out of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas are already feeling Irma's impact.
The battery was breached, and many of our low-lying areas are experiencing flooding right now.
Tropical storm warnings and the potential for flash flooding over the next 24 hours have residents and officials on edge as Irma continues to wreak havoc throughout the southeast. In Naples, Florida, I'm Kristen Holmes.
Coming up on the Trapezoid, the latest from the Sarasota Police, the Salvation Army, and the now legendary Chief Meteorologist, Bob Harrigan.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah, yeah.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Game on, Suncoast. Get scores and highlights from the area's top high school matchups on Football Friday night, just after the news at 11:15. Sponsored by your local Honda dealers.
Welcome back. Battered and bruised, yes, but Irma was no match for the Suncoast. We're licking our wounds, picking up the fallen trees and branches over 100 traffic lights. We're out this afternoon, fewer now. 60% of Sarasota County is in the dark, 55% of Manatee County is without power, and FLP says in some cases it may be out for days to weeks. No school tomorrow in both Sarasota and Manatee counties, but slowly stores and restaurants are beginning to reopen. And joining us for more is ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Sarasota Police Lieutenant Dimitri Konstantinopoulos, and Major Chuck Witten of the Salvation Army. Did I get that right, Lieutenant?
You did.
I'm very proud of myself. Bob, let me start with you because you and I have been talking about these storm tracks for over a week now. In the final analysis, what surprised you the most?
Well, what surprises me the most, basically, is how intense this storm was and how much it became a widespread storm event. Typically, they don't get that big, and for me to see a storm at 185 mile an hour for sustained wind, 185 for a sustained wind, not over us, but over the northern Leeward Islands, and with 225 mile an hour winds, gusts, I had a hard time even saying that because I just couldn't believe how intense that storm was, and it stayed that way for a record. No other storm, cyclone, tropical cyclone, and that means cyclones and typhoons, has ever been that strong across the globe. So just a very intense hurricane. And each hurricane that I've covered all have a unique personality, just as we saw with Charlie, with Andrew, again, with many other storms. So this one is one for the record books, and hopefully we won't see another one like this for another 100 years, you know.
I hope not. Major, the one question I had for you, and the reason why we had you on, is when I was heading out of the station Saturday night after 8 o'clock, I saw a number of homeless people at gas stations in my travels in our area here, and I wondered what happened to them. I'm wondering if any of them braved the elements, or were we able to get most of them into shelter?
I believe so, and there was a very concerted effort by the city and the county to sort of educate and resource folks towards hurricane shelters. There were a few that lingered on into Saturday evening, probably well past an advisable time. But my team had told me they encountered police who had given lifts to people to shelters, and in the waning hours of Sunday when everything was upon us, there were just a few that came in to us as a shelter of last resort. So I believe for the most part we were able to accommodate everyone and get them to safety.
Ordinarily, your police officers have a tough job when it comes to the homeless in our area in bad weather. You can't force a person to do something, but what was the strategy over the weekend to get these folks off the street?
I think, like the Major said, education was huge. Getting out there, letting them know what the potential was, what the risk factors were, and really encouraging them to let us take them to the appropriate places.
We're going to get more into this in the next half hour, but quickly, what is the biggest problem that the police department has at this hour?
You know, right now, I'd first like to say that, truly after everything that you said, Bob, we're certainly blessed because it could have been a lot worse. And really much of our, the things that we're looking into and taking care of are cosmetic and can be fixed. So really we're dealing with some lines that are down, some intersections that don't have lights operable, and we have quite a few trees that are still blocking the roads, but the city departments are working hard to get those squared away.
I know when I talked to the chief on Friday night, she was concerned about the possibility of looting. Down south in other parts of the state, there were some arrests, a couple up in Polk County as well. Did you have much of a problem with that here?
I'm happy to say that we didn't have any problem with that. I think it's a credit to our community. Truly, everybody has come together, had a great approach to this, and we haven't had any reported looting at all.
All right, very good. We are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the recovery from Irma right after we check the first alert weather. Stay with us.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wannabe Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabeinn.com.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $10 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received J.D. Power Awards for highest customer service. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Our conversation on the recovery from Irma continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. We're still watching the tropics. You know, we're talking about storms and relief after a hurricane moves on through, and some of the aspects of these monstrous storms that have been out there this year. If you think about it, we had Harvey, then we had Irma, then we had Jose, all category 4 or above storms consecutively, something we have never seen in the Atlantic Basin. Just to name just one record, and there's many more that have been set. So we're going to check the tropics right now. You know, we're still kind of antsy from Irma, but there's still Jose out there, and a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with Jose. There's still some problems with it out there, and we have another disturbance off the coast of Africa. Yes, we're still at just one day past the peak of hurricane season, and you would expect to see a storm out there somewhere, and we have 3 really that have moved on through recently, and another one developing possibly off the coast of Africa. Here is Jose, and this is the historical track as it made its way toward the northern Leeward Islands. It missed it, thankfully. It was very close to getting it, and the wind's now at 100 miles an hour, so they're decreasing somewhat. It's moving to the north at 12, and we talk about the forecast models. We'll get a look at this one. You think Irma was bad. Here's a look at this. It goes to the right, it goes to the left, it goes to the northwest, and then here's where it ends up on Saturday. And we all know now, too familiar with the cone of uncertainty, it could be up here or it could be down here near the Bahamas. Reason why? Well, those forecast models are, again, a bit confused with the upper level steering currents. The Canadian model right here taking it off toward the north and then eventually to the northeast. By the way, the Canadian model did quite well in the long-range forecast with Irma. It had it down, the only one really to take it down through Cuba 7 days out, and then put it in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. None of the models were actually biting on that solution at all, but eventually they did. And this model is the UK Met, which is a very reliable, especially long-term model. And it's the United Kingdom's meteorological model, and that puts it right there over the northern Bahamas, heading right toward Miami. And a couple of other takes it pretty close. This is the Hurricane Weather Research model, takes it over the northern Bahamas. So this is still going to be in play, it looks like. Many days away. So we'll watch it closely right now. It's still out there spinning around, but this is now causing significant problems. Irma bringing heavy rains and flooding into South Carolina, North Georgia, and throughout Alabama into Tennessee. That's how big this storm is, and that's why I was talking about how intense the storm was, and now it's the heavy rainfall that is having a big impact on Georgia and the Carolinas there. For us, we've had a few brief showers moving on in, and with these rain bands, we're still getting gusts up to 30 to 40 miles an hour, but the good news is that the tropical storm warning is no longer in effect for our coast. It had been in effect through the morning. For the most part, that has since expired, but we're still seeing a little bit of shower activity moving onshore, heading off to the northeast. There are no tropical storm force winds around as far as sustained winds go. The highest gust I found from looks like Lee County northward was at Anna Maria, a little buoy out there, reporting a wind gust of 92 miles an hour yesterday. So the storm center went just in this direction. We always talk about the dirty side, the right side, and sure enough, that's where the heaviest rain fell, just to the right of the center, as we see right there. And again, 7.3 in southeastern portions of Hardy County, 8.8 near Wauchula, and lesser amounts near the coast, but still about 3 inches at Siesta Key, 4 inches at Lakewood Ranch, and about 5 inches just south of Arcadia. Here's the forecast as we look and see for the next 7 days. We've got Some good weather to clean up, in fact, but it's going to be hot out there, so remember to drink plenty of fluids and hydrate yourself, because a lot of problems happen after the storms move through, with heart attacks and people having some issues with heat exhaustion. So rains come back, storms in the afternoon Thursday. They'll stick around through Saturday, and we'll have much more coming up a little bit later. We'll be right back.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork for free, and best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Don't let chronic lower back pain slow you down. Get moving and stay active with a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost. We also accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and other insurance. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare? Find out for free.
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-715-0835. That's 1-800-715-0835, 1-800-715-0835.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
It's a lot of fun. You got to come out.
We come down from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Irma was tough, but the Suncoast is tougher. Joining us for more is ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Sarasota Police Lieutenant Dimitri Konstantopoulos, and Major Chuck Witten of the Salvation Army. Did I say it all right that time?
You did.
Okay.
Twice now. That's good.
Lieutenant, the big question that I had for you is the number of traffic lights that are out still in Sarasota County. You said earlier it's down to about 60 in our area right now?
Actually, as of about an hour ago, it was down to 24 in the city that were inoperable.
Now, Erica did a great interview with a state trooper in terms of what to do when you get to a light that does not have a working signal. I think it's important enough information that we repeat it, because I don't think a lot of people know what to do in terms of watching the traffic coming in the opposite direction or coming from 90 degrees. Just remind people what you should do.
No, it's a very important topic. If a driver comes upon an intersection with the lights down, they should treat it as a four-way stop. Be patient. Make sure you use due care. Everybody's in the same boat here, and just show a lot of patience.
Patience is not something we're always good at, and
Well,
you can't have an officer at every unworking signal to tell drivers what to do.
No, we can't. But we're all in this together. We have to remember that it could have been a lot worse, and show that care and patience.
Okay. And Major, as we were talking about earlier, I'm just fascinated by whether the homeless people who there are a lot of them in our city, unfortunately, whether they got off the street, what was the strategy in terms of where to go, and what's going on at the Salvation Army right now? How many people are you taking care of?
Okay. Well, tonight we served 240 for dinner, and we anticipate most of those will stay the night. So our capacity is 250. So we really are heavy at capacity near it tonight if we don't.
On a normal night, how many do you feed?
180. So it's significantly more tonight.
What kind of attitude did you pick up from folks in terms of some of whom are very independent? They want to do what they want to do, but what we saw over the last 24 hours was nothing to play around with in terms of seeking shelter.
I think for the most part, once they could grasp, just as Lieutenant mentioned earlier, just the danger of loss of life, it was enough to convince most of them to take advantage of the resources, the free buses, police transportation, whatever means to get to a shelter. The EOC was very deliberate in their communication about the availability, come as you are, pets, just whatever, and just trying to accommodate everyone to be safe for the, and I think making that easy to access was very helpful to that population.
And Lieutenant, how are your colleagues and your men and women doing right now? Because talking to the chief beforehand, this was all, everyone on deck. And you were out there last night, and you went out on the road as soon as it was safe to do so.
Yeah, our personnel were spectacular. They truly were. They worked day and night. Went without sleep, went without food, were very selfless, while at the same time trying to make the community safe. Many had their families on their minds, and they were worried about their families. But that's what we do. When we pin that badge on, we know that there are going to be events like this, and it brings everybody together. There was a sense of unity this weekend during the storm, and as a Sarasota police officer, I couldn't have been more proud to witness these officers and civilian personnel as well going out and doing what they do best. And many of them slept on the floor. They were at these shelters for the entirety, the 3 days, and they're tired, but we're moving along, and we'll continue to do so.
Was it as bad as you expected it to be?
No. As far as what
in terms of the weather conditions when you would peek your head out.
I think we were truly blessed. We were spared in this because this started out as a Category 5 and decreased, and when we were able to get out last night after the sustained winds subsided, we didn't know what to expect, and personally, just knowing that there was trees down, just some cosmetic superficial damage. Like I said, it could have been a lot worse.
It brings me to the question I really have been wanting to ask you, Bob, and we have a lot of viewer questions that I want to get to as well. But you and I have been talking about these computer models for over a week now. I think what we've seen here are the limitations of our technology.
Yes, there are limitations. It's getting better and better in terms of where the storm is going to be in 3 days. In fact, the error rate for a 3-day forecast is now where the 5-day forecast used to be. I should say the 3-day forecast is now where the 5-day forecast error rate is about 15 years ago. So it's getting a lot better. So what I'm saying is with technology and bigger computers and processing speeds and more data coming into the system, we're getting a better idea as to where the storm goes. But we cannot map out yet the subtleties of the upper levels of the atmosphere.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because you and I were talking earlier that there are certain things that the technology cannot pick up in the atmosphere, which basically help push the storm where it goes.
And it's like the old chaos theory. If a butterfly flaps its wings in Texas, it changes the weather in Florida. There's little things that can happen that can create big things, doing big things down the road. And this was a little trough of low pressure that actually was to develop over the lower Mississippi Valley, and the high pressure to the north of it, which was driving the system, was a little stronger than the models had projected. And so it went on a little different course. And all the models handle things a little differently. And I must say, I got to say kudos to the first responders, the police officers, and also the firefighters, the paramedics, and on top of that, the EOC chiefs, Sherilyn Burris and Ed McCrane, too. I don't want to leave them out, but they did a great job, too, informing the public and letting them know what was going to go on and possibly happen.
All right, let's ask a couple of questions here. Let's see if we have some answers, and I'll ask you two at one time. Lisa wants to know whether the eye of the storm actually passed over Sarasota County.
Sarasota County, no. It was actually into DeSoto County, and then into Hardy County, and then into Polk County, and a little bit of Hillsborough as well. So the eye got a little larger as it was moving in, but the center of the storm, if you will, let's call it the center of the storm, made its way through those counties. I mentioned the interior county, so it did not pass into Sarasota.
And I also know that you did get to this, but let's ask it again. Kimberly wants to know, how high did the wind speed get?
Well, the wind gusts here, the strongest one was in the Anna Maria Island area at 92-mile-an-hour wind gusts. There were no reports so far of any hurricane force sustained winds, okay? So there was no constant wind at above 74 miles an hour. There wasn't any of that. And the strongest wind gusts, for example, at the Venice Airport and the Venice Pier, I think was up at 82 miles an hour. And those are fairly significant. They do just exactly what happened. They down trees, power lines, and they rip out awnings. And so it was pretty standard stuff with the wind speed that we saw.
All right, we're going to come back for final thoughts in just a moment. But first, we want to show you some footage that we are getting right now of a fire around the corner from our studio. We are being told that there are 3 to 10 20-foot boats on fire. The fire is out now, and the investigation is now getting underway, and we'll have more on the story coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. We have to take a quick break, and we'll have final thoughts when we return, so stay with us.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
It's summer on the Suncoast, and you know what that means.
It's Friday Fest season, and you're invited. Hi, I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Join ABC7 at the Van Wazel on September 15th and groove to the funk and soul party band Reverend Barry and Funktastic Soul.
We'll be there too. Bring your friends and rock the night away.
For more information, call this number.
Or go to mysuncoast.com/FridayFest.
Presented by Gettle Automotive and Cool Today. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Our guest joining us right now for final thoughts about Hurricane Irma. You know, Lieutenant, we're not quite out of the woods yet. We have to have a lot of patience over the next few days. What is the one thing you want our viewers to know in terms of your perspective?
You know, the city and the police department, we're doing everything we can to make sure that people can obtain normalcy in their lives again. None of our resources have been affected. Everything's been allocated to try to get everybody back to their normal lives. We'll continue to be out there patrolling the neighborhoods, offering assistance to whoever needs it in any capacity, in any way, shape, or form. We can do that, and certainly they can call on us. And if we don't have the answers we'll direct them to the proper places.
Just be patient.
And be patient. You have to be patient.
Major, I would imagine that this was a real test of not only of the capacity of the Salvation Army, but also the core of your mission.
Yes, and I'm glad to say that with the staff, the volunteers, the resources communities afforded us, we were able to meet needs, and we are committed to continue to do that. And we're just happy to be a part of people who want to make a better life for themselves. And we hope to continue to do that. They've got a lot of storms going on in their life every day that they're overcoming.
You know, Bob, and finally, and you have said this before, we are not at the end of hurricane season now, and whether the odds would be there that we would receive another major storm, we're in unusual times. After all, we've had 4 category hurricanes within 16 days of each other?
Yeah, pretty amazing. And Harvey being the most rain-producing hurricane ever in the United States history. One thing I'd like to tell people to take out of this is that, you know, we've learned a lot of lessons on how to prepare for a hurricane, but we don't really teach a lot about after hurricane. We still have potential dangers here that will continue on for the next week. People will be using chainsaws, they'll be up on their roofs, they'll be fixing things, they'll be exerting themselves a little bit too much in the heat. And what's the Hurricane Center is finding out, and some of the emerging management officials are saying that more people are getting hurt after the hurricane moves through. So be careful out there.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, thank you very much. FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, Sarasota Police Lieutenant Dimitri Konstantinopoulos, and Major Chuck Witten of the Salvation Army. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather, plus remembering 9/11, 16 years ago today.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
You studied hard, went to college, and achieved your dream, but it turned into a financial nightmare. If you have federal student loans and you'd like to reduce your payments, get more time, or have your loans completely eliminated, then we have good news. With one call to Student Loan Relief Services, you can find support and guidance. We've already helped thousands of people, and we can help you too. If you have $10,000 or more in federal student loans, you can qualify for payment extensions, payment reductions, or you may qualify to have your federal student loan completely forgiven. Call Student Loan Relief Services now to find out about your options. Take control of your finances and get out from under this burden. One of our student loan experts has the answers to your questions and great solutions to ease your financial burden. We're here for you. Call Student Loan Relief Services now.
Call 800-759-0203. 800-759-0203.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our first alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. We continue to watch the progress of Irma. It was still a big storm. It's bringing heavy rainfall from South Carolina all the way up to Tennessee and Kentucky, and all the way over to the west into Alabama, but the heaviest rain near Atlanta. So we had a lot of visitors down here, and also we had a lot of residents who took off north to get out of harm's way, who are parked right here now where the storm is. They were trying to get down south, but there's a tropical storm in the way, so they'll have to delay that too, it looks like. Some of them are going around the back end and getting down here that way. The location now at 31.5 north, 84.0 west. Top winds are at 50, so now a tropical storm and no longer a massive hurricane like it once was. The pressure is also starting to come up a bit, and the forecast path is not good for this particular area. We're talking a lot of flooding concerns. These things are so hard to just break up when they get that big, and this one's not going to break up anytime soon. The small ones certainly do kind of fade away. We saw that with Katia down there in Mexico, which was around just for a few days for the most part. Well, the tropical storm watch and warning and everything else is pretty much gone. As I said, the advisories are still out there for mariners, and we're still watching the tropics. This is Jose, and Jose has a chance, a small one at that, heading back toward Florida in about 6-7 days from now. So we'll watch it closely. This one has only a 20% chance of developing, but we are not through with this tropical season. We still could see as many as 7 more storms develop before it's all said and done based on the projections. Now, speaking of projections, and Alan was asking about the models, well, they're all over the place on here because they emphasize certain variables more so than other models, and those are kind of proprietary, so they don't let you know what they're doing. But the UK Met is doing really well in long-range forecasting, and unfortunately we don't like that because that's heading off toward Florida. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, a big spread as to where it may be in about 5 days from now. So nothing to worry about here on this coast at this point, but I would not be surprised to see some sort of tropical scare before the season ends. You can see the radar picture. This is the big story I mentioned with the heavy rainfall expected over the southeast United States coming on over the next several days, and flood warnings will be up for those regions. Well, here's the forecast. A nice day tomorrow, albeit warm. We'll see warm weather on Wednesday and good cleaning days. I know I'll be picking up many actually parts of my fence through the next couple of days and discarding those. A 30% chance of showers, actually 40 on Thursday, 50 on Friday, and 40 on Saturday. It's been a long weekend. Alan will be right back after this.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabein.com.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish! In your face, in your face,
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Keep up with your investments and market trends by watching the ABC7 Stock Report. Get a recap of all the day's stock market activity. Be sure to watch your Suncoast News at 6 for the ABC7 Stock Report, sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Checking our primetime headlines, today marks the 16th anniversary of the September 11th terror attacks. The country is remembering the events of that day as millions of people deal with extensive destruction by 2 hurricanes. President Trump started the day with a moment of silence at the White House. ABC's Emily Rao reports from Washington.
As the bells tolled in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, once for each person who died on Flight 93, President Trump spoke to a crowd of families and employees at the Pentagon.
Here on the west side of the Pentagon, terrorists tried to break our resolve. It's not going to happen. But where they left a mark with fire and rubble, Americans defiantly raised the stars and stripes.
The president and First Lady Melania beginning the day on the south lawn of the White House with a moment of silence at 8:45 a.m., the time the first plane hit the World Trade Center. And at Ground Zero, relatives of the nearly 3,000 people killed on 9/11 began the annual reading of the names of their loved ones.
My uncle, Rescue 1 firefighter Gerard Terrence Nevins. We love you and we miss you every day.
I wish more than anything that I could have met you.
The ceremonies marking 16 years since those 4 hijacked planes hit the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field on September 11, 2001. The first time native New Yorker President Trump is observing 9/11 as president.
On that day, not only did the world change, but we all changed. Our eyes were opened.
President Trump began his remarks by talking about the hurricane situation, the very latest with Irma and Harvey. He said, when Americans face hardship, we emerge stronger than ever. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
And please join us tomorrow for a special ABC7 at 7, the connection between September 11th and Sarasota, an exclusive interview with former Florida Senator Bob Graham, who is still trying to get to the bottom of what really happened on that day. The influential Republican chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee is contemplating his political future. Senator Bob Corker reportedly hasn't decided whether or not to seek re-election next year. A source familiar with Corker's thinking says he is taking steps to prepare for a run, including raising money and hiring a consultant. But Corker has also been critical of President Trump, particularly the president's handling of last month's deadly violence during a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. The happiest place on earth will be up and running again on Tuesday. Walt Disney World shut down on Sunday as Hurricane Irma was approaching the Orlando area. Online videos and pictures showed some flooding at Epcot and at the Grand Floridian Resort. Trees were also knocked down in the Animal Kingdom. It was only the 6th time in the resort's 45-year history severe weather has forced the theme park to close. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.